Hey guys, I'm gonna make a quick video about berberine and olive oil and using the two together to lower your blood glucose at a very fast pace. So, normally throughout the day your blood glucose is gonna drop anyway, but using berberine and olive oil will make it precipitously drop for the basic reason that both are working on AMPK. That's the most broad reason why. But more specifically, berberine is working to downregulate part of your ETC, the part that is burning sugar within your electron transport chain. And so it switches your body into fat burning mode. That's what berberine does. And olive oil is also doing something very similar. It is providing a mechanical stress on your cells, very, very similar to exercise. And so while it's doing these things, it's signaling low energy to the body. So the body keeps thinking that it's low on ATP. So it just keeps burning through fuel. And the end result is that your blood glucose goes down. And that's not to mention that berberine, which we have right here, will basically prevent hepatic glucose output. And so once your blood glucose drops below a certain level, it'll set your liver at a pace almost like it's like a calibrator, right? So that's the basic idea. And to get this to work, there's several things that need to go right. One thing right away is, I'll say, before I forget, you need high quality olive oil. This is cold pressed, low acidity between 0.1 and 0.2. Otherwise, you're going to lose the polyphenols. So that has to be taken care of. And also, you want to be doing this on an empty stomach. If you are eating, it's going to totally interfere with the AMPK. You're not going to be able to activate AMPK on high insulin. And with that said, if you work out before you do this, the effect is going to be far more dramatic. So like a combination of things, like if you're lean, working out and you're fast, it's going to work really well. If it's the opposite of all three, then it's not going to really produce the desired effect. So let's see what happens now. Right now, it's 3:02 on my watch here. Now, I just checked my Stello, which is a mobile blood glucose monitor that I have on my shoulder here. And the reading is about 107, 105, something like that. But after having done this many times, my blood glucose drops below 70. So if that happens, we're going to have to use the Contour Next, which is this, and because it doesn't read anything below 70 on the Stello, so we're going to have to use the Contour Next, and we'll get a frame of reference that way. So right away, let's just take our olive oil to make things simple. So we're going to start off. So the way you do this is you have to titrate. It's not going to happen in one shot. You start off with the largest titration between about 30 and 60 milliliters of olive oil. And then you basically take subsequent doses between an hour and 2 hours. It varies depending on the person and the way they're responding to the polyphenols, the way they're responding to the oil. For me personally, right now, hour and a half, right in the middle is the sweet spot. So that's what we're going to be doing today. So oregano, that's just for me. You don't have to worry about that. We'll take berberine. We're going to take 2 just to make sure. There it is. It's finished. Good olive oil will have quite a strong flavor to it. If it doesn't, it might not be up to quality. Just a little something for you next time you are out to dinner. Okay, so nice thing about this is if you're having olive oil fasted, you'll notice that after a couple hours, your skin's gonna look better. I mean, this stuff is a really good detox tool. It works very well. I feel like my skin doesn't even look that good right now, but by the end of it, it might look better. We'll see. So Contour Next says my blood glucose is 82 right now. which is pretty crazy because my Stello is like way different. I'll put the Stello right here. You know, these blood glucose monitors are really crappy, but you know, it is what it is. I have type 1 diabetes. It took a long time to find out about it. That's why I have a blood glucose monitor. But I can make a separate video about that. But you know, this is one of the few things that actually lowers my glucose as a type 1 diabetic. Exercise won't even lower it, because when I exercise, my hepatic goes up. That's what happens when you're type 1 diabetic, is your cortisol goes up and your blood glucose rises, but you don't have the basal insulin to bring it back down. And so, voila, you have a crazy medicine here that works very well. So, bottoms up. We're gonna fast forward. I think we're gonna do about 3 to 4 total dosages, and we'll see how it's looking, and we'll do a measurement each time. Okay guys, we're gonna take our next olive oil dose. It is basically 4:30, 4:32 on the clock here. So Stello is reading at 82, so already that was basically about a 20 to 30 point drop within an hour and a half, which is ridiculous. But that's what we got now. So we'll check the CNT as well before we take our next dose. Get a measure right there. And based on the way that things are going, we're probably going to dip below 70 on a Stello, and not sure what we'll see on the contour. It'll probably be quite low. Okay, so contour is reading 51. That's very, very low. So exactly, it's a 30, because before it was 82, 30 point drop in an hour and a half. I mean, it's a crazy result. You're not going to get that, like, even from exercising, you're not going to get that. And so, I mean, I would challenge anyone to replicate that result. Not to be cocky, but like, you're not going to really find that anywhere. Try to look on YouTube and try to find like olive oil lowering blood sugar. It's not really heard of, and the reason for that is because they're not using the right ingredients. They're not combining it with berberine, and they're not exercising. They're not doing it fasted. Again, fasting opens up a completely different side to the polyphenols within olive oil. Otherwise, it's not going to work. And I forgot to mention this before. If you're overweight or you need a little bit of help, there's a reason I'm not using these other ingredients like naringin or bitter melon, for example. These will also drive AMPK and also help suppress that blood glucose. Slightly different mechanisms, but basically they will. And I've used them before. But I'll be honest, it's quite stressful. It's actually quite stressful because it's AMPK. It's like exercising. I feel a little bit of a head pressure, to be quite honest. And what happens with this is that this is always an initial thing, and as you titrate, it tends to go away, which is nice. But that's what it is. And so we'll take our dose right now. Okay, so that was our second dose at 4:30. We'll see how the next one looks. Okay guys, so it's 9:54 according to my watch here. I took the third dose before. I believe it was at 7:30, and I did not bother recording that one because my glucose had basically hit the floor, and I'll throw it up over here so you guys can see what's going on. I'm gonna do everything on my Stello. Forget about the contour because it only dipped below 70 for a very small period of time. But overall, the graph and the chart is gonna show you what happened. So basically, shortly after taking the olive oil and the berberine and titrating, it precipitously went down 30 points, right? We went from, it was about 110 all the way down to below 70. So you're talking about a 40 plus point drop in blood glucose within 2 to 3 hours. Now that's a very, 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 very good. For anyone that's type 2 or type 1, that is a huge, huge, huge benefit. And as you can see from the charts, my blood glucose was a steady 110 to 115 throughout the entirety of the day, and it wouldn't budge. It would not budge until we took the olive oil and the berberine, and then it was just a steady decrease downwards, and then eventually restabilizing at 85. So it did what it was supposed to do. Now I got a little greedy and I was hoping that we would stay below 70 this time around. I might make a part 2 to this video where we get below 70, we stay down there. I've done this before in the past and I could redo it. The reason it didn't work today and the reason I was struggling to make this work yesterday and the day before is because we took a cold shower and we had caffeine this morning. And so what both of those things will do is that they'll raise your hepatic glucose, your resting glucose levels. And you would think, well, these things are both burning through fat and energy, so it would lower your blood glucose. That's true in the short term. So especially cold shower will make it drop, but then your body will respond and corticoids will naturally keep your resting blood glucose high, right? Because you're in a stress response. So that's what I'm in today because of the routine that I practiced. So that's that. Maybe we'll do a part 2 where that's not an interfering factor. And we might do a part 3 or a separate video where we take berberine, olive oil, and we combine them with rice cakes. And this is like a phenomenal, it's not phenomenal, it's a phenomenon, really, because you can take down about 250 to almost 500 calories worth of rice cakes. You can use this trick, and not only will your blood glucose not shoot up, it'll actually go down even further. It'll go down even further, and then we'll discuss in a separate video why that happens. It has to do mainly with your hepatic glucose, like we just said, cold shower and caffeine raises it. Like a starch like rice will actually suppress it, with a caveat that it doesn't go back up because the berberine and the olive oil are suppressing it. So you lower down your stress with the rice cakes and then it brings it down. But that's a separate video we'll do later in the future. But for now, here's, we have the charts that I showed you. And those are the results we got with berberine and olive oil. Again, you have to be exercising beforehand and you have to be fasted. And if these aren't enough, you can use bitter melon, naringin, and oregano to fuel the process and make it faster. So that was just a neat little trick, very, very good for you if you're trying to lower your blood glucose. Thank you for watching.